Good now? Okay. This is Remy. He just arrived here. This is his before video. Let's see what he can do here. If he knows what sit means. Like sit. I don't think he has any kind of basic commands at all. And if he doesn't even have a sit, he certainly doesn't have a stay. Come. Come. Like he doesn't know what that means, so good boy. Let's go over here. Try to get him to do a down. Down. How about another come? Yeah, he doesn't know any commands. This is his first day here, first time I've had him on a leash, and the before video, and we'll show you what happens when we're done with the training. Sit. We're having Remy sit at all the boundaries. I'm going to move him a little bit closer. Okay, sit to this gateway so you can see, because sometimes the shadow makes it so you can't see the dog. So I have him sit, I step out to accentuate the fact that this is my boundary. We're teaching them, all the dogs, never race out after us. Never call him from a sit stay out through a boundary like this, which would be maybe a thing that people used to do, but we know now that you'll just teach him to race after you. We want him to have a solid, rock solid sit stay at all boundaries. You know, someday the door might be open at the front gate, and if you practice this every day before you go on a walk, he'll not be used to going out any other way other than this. You accentuate the fact that this is your boundary, he waits while you cross through, and he only goes through with you, okay, without pulling. And whenever you have to turn around to go back, you always do a left turn into him. And you're always going like this. You're always using your body. If he pulls ahead of you, you're tapping him, and that'll slow him down. This boundary, that's what we do. The boundary training, we do that at all the doorways as well. Doorways, gateways, and now we're going to do it at a curb. Sit. And I always practice doing a walk around sit stay because he just has to focus that much more for me to do this and to wait until I've gone around both ways. He waits, okay, to cross the street. So it's the same concept with the curbs. If he only goes out in the street with you after you have him wait at the curb, and then he doesn't race out there without you, sit. He walks across in training mode like that without pulling. On the other side, when you continue your walk or start your walk, in this case, go. You release him here, and now he can start the walk, and we're free. Now we started our walk, and when we're walking him, we're never choking up, we're never restraining. If he starts to pull, if for some reason he's pulling you, you have two things to do. Let's say he pulls you, you can tap and release, and he'll stop. And worst case scenario, you have to say, come, call him back to you. Good. Obviously the pulling stops when his recall is rock solid and he comes back to you every time, because he can't pull anymore because he turns around, comes back towards you, leash is loose, pulling goes away, of course. So you might have to start a walk at first, come, doing this. Good. Let's say he's so excited to go on a walk. Come. Good. I'm using little tidbits of treats here, just basically like, it's almost like a bacon bit for dog. It's like so tiny, it's really not about, come. It's not about the size and the amount. Of course, he's done with his training now, so he's practiced this probably over 1,000 times. So it's input into his brain like a reflex. He can't help it. I can do it without food too. Come. Good. I suggest though that you pretend that you do have food. Always call him this target, because he may not be as good with you at first as he is with me, even though we practiced. You have to catch up until he's as comfortable doing this with you as he is with me. So if in an emergency you don't have a treat, because you're going to practice with little tidbits for the first couple of weeks that you have him. Come. Get him back, facing you. Good. And you gradually phase the food out, but I would be using the recall for come. I'd be using a treat for a while, just like I am during this video. But in an emergency, he doesn't know that your hand is empty. Always call to this target. It's a closed hand, so it's not like this, it's not like that. It's really simple. It's a fist, and it's just this target, come, that he'll come to, and he has no idea why he wants to come to this. Good boy. If you don't have a treat in your hand, if it's an emergency, and you had to just call him, and right in a split second, your other hand either grabs a leash if he's wearing it, or put your hand under his cloth collar that has his tags on, the one that never comes off, because it's got his tags on him, and it's tight enough so it doesn't come off over his head. So grab that one so that you have him, because you never want a dog to start thinking they can run and grab the treat, or run to you and then run away again. So always make sure you grab the leash right there by his collar, or hook your hand under that collar. So always practice the recall like this, and you notice every time that I do that, I back away, because when you stand still, the recall is not that great, or sometimes it's not, or it can be just mediocre. When you back away, come, it triggers the dog. Good boy. Triggers the dog to rush to you, and then later on you can, I'll show you here, you can have your back to a wall or something and it's an emergency and you have to call him to you. Look over there, I'm creating a distraction here with a little treat. Here, look at this, go over there, go get that. Oh, sorry, let's see, let's try that again. Look, distraction there, come, good. With no treat, just from your practicing the way I'm showing you. You don't have to back away anymore because of the way you practiced. You practiced in a way that makes him rush to you hundreds of times in a row, and so later on he doesn't remember any other way of doing it other than racing to you because of how you taught him. And I just practiced there away from some distractions, and he even left some goodies there because he's so good at his recall now. He would have wanted to stay and finish those goodies, but it just triggered him to run back to me. And notice also that when I am practicing, let's do that again with the distraction. Come, good, petting him. So the good and the pet and the treat happen simultaneously, so that when you don't have the treat, go over there, look, go get that. Don't you want that treat? Look, go get that treat. Come, when you don't have that treat, good boy. But you still are going to pet him and tell him he's good. He probably doesn't really miss the treat much. So always practice with the treat, backing away, doing it exactly the way you see us doing it here. And then in an emergency, you won't need the treat because of how you practiced. Okay. So we're here to practice our basic obedience out here in public. I'm going to say down. And we're going to just practice a down stay here right by the front door of this giant store where all these people come in with carts, and you might even see dogs walking past. People will definitely be walking really close by. If you practice in a place like this, it's really a hard thing to do for a lot of dogs to stay in a real stay with a lot of distractions going on. There's loud music. There'll be people from time to time dropping boards, or coming past us really quickly or something like that, like within 1 foot, just like that. Good. And obviously we practiced a lot in a lot of different situations, but I just wanted to show you, commit this to film to show you how good his focus is now. If you say down and you practice it the way we're practicing it, he's going to stay there most likely until he's released. And I'm also doing of course the basic downstay, which is to walk around him both ways. And it started me just doing this in our quiet yard with no distractions, and gradually we worked up over the coming weeks to higher levels of, hey buddy, more treats, distractions. So that's how we got him to this place here. But you saw how I did it. I just said down. He did hesitate a second, and so I just went like this, and he went straight down. He's got a pretty good down. He's just going to go straight down. But if he, you're going to be kind of new to him, even though we practiced a little bit. So you might have to say down and ease him down for a couple of days so he gets used to doing it with you. Make sure you don't say down and then he ignores you and then you do that. Just say it, just do it simultaneously. If you know that he's not exactly on point with you, then for a few days just do down. And then you probably won't have to do that part anymore. He'll just be going down like he does most of the time with us here. And then the stay, obviously we're not saying stay. You don't have to say stay. I just trained him to stay there and to wait until we come back and release him. So if he does pop up before you release him, let's say you're standing out, all you say is no. You can pivot on your right foot, and with your left foot ease him down like that, he'll go right back. Don't ever say the command twice. If you keep repeating the command, you'll dilute the power of that command. So you can see I only said it one time, but if he did pop up and make a mistake, before I released him, I wouldn't say D-O-W-N, I would say no, and I just put him back. So to release him, he's waiting for you to come back next to him. Okay to get up, sit, always release him from the calm sit stay. Don't release him directly out of a down because it won't be a calm release. If you release him out of a down from a calm sit stay with a loose leash, you're never restraining him. It's always a loose leash. Go, you can reinforce a much calmer release. And if you release him calmly from these sit stays and down stays, if you're going to keep practicing, you will get much better results. If you release him in a very excitable way, if you say okay and you're good and everybody starts jumping around, you're going to destroy that calmness that we're trying to develop in him and actually build a deeper level of calmness in him. And it's all about how you release him as well as how you practice the down when you're actually doing that. So up until the very end of this whole sequence, it's calmness. It's waiting to be released when he's calm, and you'll have a much calmer dog. He'll keep getting more and more calm if you keep practicing it this way. So sit. And I did apply just a little bit of pressure, very subtle, just to make sure that he sat immediately. He's tired, it's a hot day. Sometimes when you're in a situation like this, also with a lot going on, they kind of shut down because there's so much going on. He's pretty good, as you can see. Once you have him sit or down, that's going to be a tough one. Luckily they turned at the last minute. Good. The stay is solid, as you can see. But I'll make this easy on him. So I'm doing a basic sit stay where you walk around, and if he gets up, you say no. You got a little confused there. So the basic sit stay is you have him sit and then you just walk around him both ways. If you just did this once or twice a day in a different spot, different corner out on the street, if you take him out to Starbucks or someplace like that, take it slow. Maybe don't start in a place this loaded with distractions. Maybe just start around your house, in your yard, and get a feel for it. Let him get used to doing it with you, and then gradually work your way up to places like this if you're going to practice out in public. If he pops up before you released him, you saw me just a second ago, and I did this little circle thing, and I gently but firmly put him back. I said no, I put him back. Don't ever repeat the command, because if you say it more than once, you'll dilute the power of that command. And there is no stay. Sit means to stay. He's waiting for me to come back to him and release him. Nope. Okay, I'm talking too much. He's getting tired. But always end on a success. So even though I know that he just is getting tired, I'm still going to make him wait and be released the proper way. So you come back next to him with your right hand, because he's going to be on your left like this, with your right hand, go, and he's free. Okay. Sit. We practice this greeting routine with people. When he came here, when he first got here, he would jump over he would jump over everybody, on everybody. and he was super easily excited with new people especially. Go say hi. So I put him in a sit stay. I stepped over, come. I stepped over, I handed the person a treat. He came over there, he got the treat, sit. This time pet him with your other hand, okay? Because he's a very nice dog with people. He loves people, and he's really good with other dogs. So his problem would be if you're not handling him in the ways that we've showed you here on the video. He could over time go back to the way he was when he first came here, which is like out of control and just really kind of obnoxious. Go. Come. This is exactly how you do it. Good. It teaches respect for greeting people, respect for humans. Sit. And we do this every day with him, with different people. Whenever I get a chance, I'll do a greeting routine. And he hasn't jumped on anybody for a long time because he's not used to jumping anymore. Because worst case scenario, if I see that he's really excited for some reason with somebody, I'm just going to call him to come before he jumps. Go. And petting and the treat. Come. And then on this side, good. Gets a treat. It's also a great way, another way to practice your sit stay, your go command, your come command in a real life situation, introducing him to a new person or letting him go over to somebody that he likes. He likes this person a lot. He hasn't seen him in a while. And it just is a good thing to practice every day, even with other members of your family, because you practice your come command and your sit stay. Okay.